match point for the Cougars. Kelly Hyder into serve and gets it over the net. USC sets it up right here for Alex Jupiter, but Oceana Bush digs it up. Rachel Todorovic tries to end it. USC gets it back over the net, and Brittany Tillman's there to finish off the sweep for WSU as they beat the Trojans for the first time in 5 years, 25-17, 28-26, and 25-23. Everyone feeling a little bit of the volleyball fever going crazy after the game is over. And the volleyball team shows their appreciation as well for the fans, moving to 15-3 on the season. Coming off the big win, WSU had to come back the next night to take on 12th-ranked UCLA, who came over to Pullman after losing to Washington the night before. Unfortunately for the Cougs, UCLA had no plans of going back to Los Angeles 0-2 for the weekend. They dominated the match en route to a sweep of WSU. Despite getting swept, WSU has a 15-4 overall record and is sitting in the middle of the Pac-10 standings. They are nearing the halfway point of the conference season. They'll have to turn things around quickly as 4th-ranked Washington comes to Pullman on Friday.
The women's soccer team faced the Arizona teams this past weekend. Tempe was the site of Friday's action as the number 24-ranked Arizona State Sun Devils hosted the Cougars. Kirsten Dahlstream and Melanie Johnston each tallied goals for the Cougars. The Cougar defense only allowed 1 goal, which cut the lead to 2-1. That score would remain as the Cougs improved their record to 9-3-1 and became 1-0-1 in the Pac-10. On Sunday, the Cougars traveled over to Tucson to face the Wildcats of Arizona. Redshirt junior Mallory Fox's penalty kick in the 84th minute gave the Cougars a 1-0 lead and the game as the Cougs overcame a sloppy passing game and 95-degree heat to gain their 10th win overall on the season. The Cougars faced the top-ranked team in the nation, the Stanford Cardinal, on Friday at the lower soccer field.
Now we're going to toss it to Nero 3, who will be hosting Face-Off.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Face Off. I'm Nero 3, and with me tonight are Zach Cecil and defending champion Jeff McNish. All right, enough with the small talk. Let's do it. With the recent missed calls by Major League umpires during this year's postseason, should the MLB expand their replay system next year? Let's start with you, Zach.
Well, I think with the recent developments this postseason and the division series and now the championship series, all these missed calls, why not give it a try? You don't have to do it on every ball and strike or every little play, but the obvious plays like the tag out at third in the Angels-Yankees game, that needs to be looked at. And I know the argument is, oh, it's too time-consuming. Well, so's running out there to argue. Instead of bumping chests with the umpire, just make a phone call and get it right.
Yeah, you can bring in replay. You can't bring it in for everything. Balls and strikes, it's a waste of time. You got to have it just on the base pass and on home runs and fair foul. Stuff that's really clear. You can see it instantly as soon as you look at the replay, and it will save time if they're not going out and arguing every time. Argument is it's the slowest sport to watch. Well, the people who are watching it don't mind it being slow, especially not to get a call right. It's so important. I mean, that was a double play. It didn't end up hurting the other night when they didn't get both the calls at third, like you were saying, with that play with the Yankees. But it needs to be fixed, and it should be fixed.
Well, you guys agreed, but I liked Zach's reasoning a little bit better, so I'm going to give you the point. Let's move on to the second topic. Through week 6 of the NFL season, who was the best of the remaining undefeated teams? Again, let's start with you, Zach.
Well, I think that a good indicator of how good you are is point differential, and right now that's the New Orleans Saints. They're averaging 19.8 points as far as margin of victory. And I could talk all day about Drew Brees and their receivers, but really how they're getting it done is with their offensive line. Their rushing game is the 4th best in the NFL, and also they're getting it done on defense. They have 11 picks, which leads the NFL, and they're top 10 in points allowed and yards allowed. It's going to be tough, when they're scoring that many points and their defense is that good.
Yeah, it's really Darren Sharper that's turned it around for the Saints. I mean, he has over 200 yards in interception returns. But I like the Colts. The Colts have Peyton Manning. He's out there doing it himself. He's an offensive coordinator on the fly, on the field. He's changing plays. He sees the defense. He can change it. He's doing it right now with 2 brand new receivers in Garcon. Another guy, when he gets Anthony Gonzalez back, that's an improvement to the team. You're looking better. Their defense has been really strong. You add Bob Sanders, all of a sudden there's a lot more growth there for them. And so that's what I think. They're already the best team, in the AFC without question. And now you add it in a top-notch Pro Bowl safety that helps you run even more. Now that it's a complete team, and you can't stop Peyton Manning. There's nothing you can do. Brees has been shut down this year. He's been stopped. The defense, the offense, both of them, they haven't put together full games. Colts are a full team, and they've made this transition real nice this year.
Yeah, I got to give the point to Jeff on that when you can't go against Peyton Manning and the Colts. So let's move on to topic 3. With fresh BCS rankings in last Sunday, you know I have to ask the question, should there be a playoff system in the NCAA football? Zach?
I think the answer is obviously yes. You know, the only people that stand to gain from these BCS games is the conference presidents. And I know that they're saying, oh, well, it's too many games. Well, don't play Western Kentucky. Don't play these FCS teams. And get rid of, the conference championships. This year, the SEC conference championship looks like it's going to be Florida and Alabama. That should be the national championship. The SEC championship is going to dilute the national championship. I just don't see why the BCS hasn't worked except for maybe 2005, Texas against USC. That's the only time I can see the true number 1 and number 2 teams faced each other in the national championship.
Yeah, you got to go to an 18 playoff. You know, you need to take those 4 big bowls and make them the first round of the playoffs. There's no reason that they can say, there's no reason to get rid of any of the bowls. They can still have their bowl season that they're complaining about. You can still have all 4 bowls. You play them, you advance 2 bowls, rotate the year that you have the championship done. And what I really like about moving to a playoff system is the difference in scheduling that you're going to see. Instead of in the preseason, before you get into conference play where teams are playing the Western Kentuckys, the nobodies, instead, make straight the schedule matter. Make them go out and have maybe an SEC, Pac-10, conference division playoff where each team is playing a team from the other conference. You start seeing really which conferences are better, and you see a lot better regular season games because teams don't have to worry about losing 1 or even 2 games. If they're the best team, they get in the playoff and then prove it in the playoffs.
Well, yeah, you guys both made good points, and you both agreed again, but I got to give it to Jeff on this one. Sorry, Zach, but he brought it. So now let's toss it back to you guys at the studio.
Now, Riley, I know we say this every week. We have something to look forward to, but this weekend, as our football team travels to Cal, I think it's going to be good because we have potentially all of our starting offensive linemen back from opening weekend.
I still don't think it's going to be enough this weekend, Dom, but...
That may be the case. Well, everyone, that's it for today's show. I'm Dominic Sheldon.
And I'm Riley Corcoran. Tune in next week for another Inside the Lines.